video games. To some extent, it's gone a little too far than it should have.
Now, what do you think about that? And I'll be back in a second.
Every year, almost 2,000 pedestrians in British Columbia are struck by vehicles. In rural areas like this, the risk of vehicle-pedestrian accidents is increased by narrow, winding roadways without sidewalks or streetlights. These factors limit a driver's ability to see far ahead and to safely navigate around a pedestrian. The most dangerous time for pedestrians to be walking along a roadway is at nighttime, when a driver's visibility is drastically reduced. So pedestrians walking at night need to take extra care to make sure that they're visible to drivers. Accidents like this one can easily be prevented by wearing reflective clothing and accessories. In this video, we'll discuss the factors affecting visibility, we'll do some reflectorization tests, and we'll show you how to effectively wear reflectors to be seen and be safe.
In 2006, just over 1,900 pedestrians were injured and 70 pedestrians were killed in British Columbia. Over 60% of pedestrian accidents occur at night, and the winter months of November to January are the worst since darkness comes sooner and poor weather conditions reduce visibility and stopping distances. According to the National Safety Council, the chances of being struck as a pedestrian increase by 1,100% after dark. Poor visibility of pedestrians is a major cause of higher nighttime accident rates, and 8 out of 10 drivers who've struck people at night reported they didn't see them. In a survey of safety specialists, reflectorization was identified as having the highest overall rating for reducing accidents during darkness. In Scandinavian countries, where reflectors have been used by all members of the population since the early 60s, the nighttime pedestrian accident rate is 50% less than other countries who don't widely use reflectors. The solution is very simple. Wearing reflective clothing or accessories has been shown to make pedestrians 5 times more visible at night. Vision is an active process, and drivers need to choose what they'll focus their attention on. Humans are most able to detect objects that are directly in front of them and are not good at detecting objects off to the sides of the visual field. With this in mind, there are several factors that impair a driver's ability to detect pedestrians. At night, humans see contrast more than color. So wearing light-colored clothing does provide some increase in contrast over dark-colored clothing, but if there are any lights in the background, this effect is lost. Tests show that clothing color alone does not give drivers enough warning time to safely navigate around or to stop for pedestrians at night. Stopping a vehicle requires 3/4 of a second for the driver to perceive a danger is present. It takes another 3/4 of a second to step on the brake, and at 50 kilometers an hour, it takes just over a second to stop a vehicle on dry pavement. Wearing black, blue, or red clothing doesn't give a driver enough time to perceive, react, or stop a vehicle before hitting a pedestrian. Wearing yellow clothing gives drivers barely enough time to stop, and wearing white clothing adds only another second to the time a driver has to avoid an accident. Wearing reflectorized clothing is the best way to give drivers ample time to perceive, react, and safely avoid striking a pedestrian at night. As we'll see in the reflectorization tests, the difference is quite dramatic. Weather conditions, especially rain and fog, cause drivers to focus on what is directly in front of their vehicle and less on the sides of the road where pedestrians travel. Rain also decreases visibility of the vehicle, making the road appear darker and decreases the amount of light reflected back to the driver from objects. Some drivers have a condition called night myopia, which causes their eyes to focus on objects that are near while making distant objects blurry. Studies show that the more complex a scene is, the more difficult it is for drivers to see pedestrians. This means that busy areas such as school zones, store and gas station locations, downtown city streets, and other congested areas make it difficult for drivers to see pedestrians amongst the busy activity of the area. Another factor that greatly affects pedestrian visibility is the age of the driver. Young drivers can see an object almost twice as far ahead as older drivers, and older drivers have more difficulty recognizing pedestrians wearing dark clothing. Rural areas often have narrow shoulders that prevent pedestrians from walking away from traffic. This is compounded by corners and hills, which further limit a driver's ability to see a pedestrian soon enough to take evasive action. The final factor that affects a driver's ability to see a pedestrian is the headlights of the car. They can't be too bright or aimed too high, or else they'll interfere with other drivers. Because of this, the vehicle's headlights are limited in their ability to show objects or pedestrians at great distances. The simple solution to all of these factors affecting pedestrian visibility, especially at night, is for pedestrians to wear reflective clothing and accessories. Wearing reflective clothing or accessories is an efficient and inexpensive way to be more visible and safe while walking at night. When drivers have ample warning that a pedestrian is ahead, they have sufficient time to react to the situation, slow down, and give more room when passing. As you can see in our road test, we've achieved at least 5 times more visibility for pedestrians wearing reflectors. In our high beam test, you'll see that the reflectors are visible as soon as we come over the crest in the road. And when we reach the pothole in the road, the non-reflectorized pedestrians are barely visible, while the reflectors are glowing brightly in the dark. Even with minor adjustments for vehicle speed and distance, the reflectorized pedestrians are still twice as visible as the non-reflectorized. To be seen at night, you must wear the proper reflector. Glow-in-the-dark or luminescent items emit a soft light that slowly fades over time. They are only visible in absolute darkness and are ineffective on the road, as vehicle headlights will easily overpower any light emitting from these devices. Also, when the item has run out of energy, it emits nothing. Iridescent items have a film that diffuses light into patterns. They look quite decorative, but don't reflect light, and therefore don't provide any warning to oncoming drivers. Prismatic or glass bead reflectors actually reflect light from a source, such as a car headlight, back to the eye of the driver. These are the only reflectors that provide an increase in visibility to pedestrians. Wearing reflectors is the most effective way to be seen at night. But there are several important concepts that will increase your chances of visibility and safety even more. The first, to ensure that you have 360-degree visibility because you want drivers to see you from any angle. The more reflectors you wear, the more visibility you have. The best place to wear reflectors is on your wrists and ankles. When walking, the swinging motion of the reflectors, called biomotion, signals drivers that a pedestrian is ahead. Biomotion is recognized at greater distances than a stationary vest worn on the torso. And always walk facing traffic so that you can see approaching cars and move off the roadway before they reach you. Reflectorized clothing and accessories can be found at local businesses or over the internet. Safety supply stores usually have the best selection, but hardware, athletic, and department stores will also have some items to choose from. There are many companies on the internet that have a good variety of reflective products as well. For a list of local businesses that carry reflectorization, check your telephone directory or your community policing office.
As a pedestrian, the responsibility for being visible to drivers is in your hands. The solution is very simple, and the research backs it up. Wear reflectorized clothing and accessories on your arms and legs so that drivers have a better chance of seeing you. Be smart, be safe, reflectorize, and survive.